No, I'll do. Will I sit down?
Sit down and open the meeting then.
Okay. Did he say? Will I? I'll sit down here. Will I?
Distract myself because the more I look at it now, the worse I'm getting. You know, you're kind of shit.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Castlebar. Now declare our meeting open. And before we go any further, I just want to one exit here and one exit here. You cleared, go back to the door you came in. You can then go through the tea room and back outside, or there's doors to your right. You can go out. The toilets are two. You don't need mobile phones, so please turn them off, so we don't have any distractions for this meeting. And now I'm going to hand over to our Toastmaster of the day, Francis Leonard. Please welcome to the stage, Francis Leonard.
Thank you, Salome. Salome is, of course, our Toastmaster. Even though this is Castlebar has been very graciously and very wonderfully, it's such a privilege and honour to organise this all. We have wonderful. We've West Awake and Castlebar, and we're very lucky that all clubs came together for this event. So thank you, Salome. To start off the meeting, I'm the District Director of 71, and she is going to open up.
Thank you so much, Francis. Anyway, guys, hooray, day number 3. Here we are to work here about 3 months ago, and I fell in love with the place. So, Francis, I want to say a huge thank you to you for facilitating at a contest. I think it was only about 1.5 years ago, Francis, and she was an amazing speaker. So I knew she'd do for doing all the work you've done leading into this. Just to say, we are live streaming 47 countries watching us today. So a very big welcome to everybody online. So just in case we have, it's an international communication and leadership organisation. And what we do is we teach people how to, we also teach people how to evaluate in a kind and thoughtful manner. And with so many of our young people going abroad itself, and they're going to have fun, and it's fantastic. But how wonderful it would be for us to give a young person the gift of memory, and we can send them on their merry way with new skill sets so they can get great jobs, and that they'll be able to talk to a made network around the world of Toastmasters. We have 250,000 Toastmasters worldwide. So why don't we link in with our global community and let's send them off with a great skill set. So now, Francis, you yourself are going to be Toastmaster for today. So we really welcome you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
I'm
Francis.
like here. I'm doubly. Okay, we have a great lineup today. We really do. It's wonderful. Nothing without the people in the background. And today we've got Alva timing everything and keeping us all masters for the past 7 years. And anyone who knows her knows of her kindness and her generosity and her. And the first thing in our lineup is our. I haven't been able to say that, from a guest speaker here today. He is a man. Joseph is no stranger to the stage. He has performed in drama groups and is part of a Cayley band. He travels around the country, and today we're lucky to have him to perform one of them for us today. Welcome onto stage, Joseph Neary.
You need a mic.
Oh, for the.
It's for the.
Might be better if they didn't. My director's here. Well, you know, I'm a nervous wreck up here, but I was backward at going forward, and why, I didn't know. Told me slow. My father blamed my mother for rearing me, a lazy sod, but she maintained it was his fault. Why don't you go out and get a woman, he used to say to me. When I was your age, the very I'll give you, well, it worked for me when I was young. If you're not in business at 12 o'clock, and you'd be fair better off at home. This last 8 years or so. Now, the only thing that held me back was just in case she might say no, see her down back in her younger days. Mind you, it's not that she's got any better looking. If I told you she was ugly, and I wouldn't be telling lies. You know, she once worked in a butcher shop just to keep away the... I had got to the stage when it came to looks, I didn't give a damn. And I know you'll say it was just as well if you saw the cut of Mary Ann. From time I had the courage to bring the subject up. I knew she still was cool with me since I turned her down that bit of land and the money. I have sort to change my mind. I was in contact with a man and told me to get the rings. Now, says he, if you'll follow my get a woman plan, I'll guarantee within a week. Time that you see her, you pay her a lot of heed. Look closely at what she's wearing and see if there's anything she might need, her neck or something for her hair. And if you like the plan, come back to me and we'll take it on from there. That evening, I was milking in the buyer and I made up my mind to go for it. Sure, after all, I'd be no worse off if the old bag, she says no, I just remember to go. It was just 2 evenings later, I was going down to have a pint, and just as I was meeting her, didn't there come this great big truck? Well, it nearly blew the clothes clean off her, and did I get a right good look. Mind, see, all her bits and bobs was covered from just above the knee. But just at the last second, sitting there in front of me, she wasn't wearing gloves. I went into town the next Thursday on the bus from Mullavan. I told me ma what I was doing and could she recommend a kind. She said, it'd fit you, better buy them for yourself and not be always wearing mine. And, well, that's not the way I had planned it, but sure, I thought I'd better play along. She says, come on into that draper shop. You know, that's what ladies now call knickers. Well, when I went into the draper shop, I was completely mesmerised. But when the shopman asked, I didn't know what to do. God says, hey, you have me there. But she's about a 7 in a shoe. Well, I bought a pair about her size, as fair as ones that had a gorgeous smell. I saw a pair of men's gloves there sitting on the shelf, and I thought about what May had said, and I bought them for a list of instructions, what to do if the gloves got soiled or wet. Says he, will you remember all I told you? Says I, no, don't you fret. Done. Says I, May, you better shape yourself or the last bus will be gone. Well, when I got home, I started thinking of all I had to say to Mary Ann. Wrote the whole lot down. See, I knew that I'd be nervous and leave out half what should be said. So it seemed instead. Later on, I washed and shaved so I'd be looking nice and splashed on what was left in the bottle of Old Spice. Says, hey, Maya, where's the shop? And she said, I was picking up the package with the gloves. Didn't I bring her knickers up instead? Well, I left the whole tractor and I got it started on the run. When I arrived at Mary Ann's, I could see she was alone, so I parked the tractor on another slope and I pointed her the front door, and on it I did knock. And when Mary Ann came out, says I'd like to talk. Here, and I handed her the present with the letter on the top. She began to open up the present first, and I will read the letter. Well, the plan was going perfect. I thought I'd have a fag. I felt I didn't know which one of them to wag. But when she opened up the present, she didn't. A bit of a grin that was there before had quickly been erased. I felt an awful dread. Says will I read the letter now? Well, I can't. Well, I wrote you this wee letter, my dearest Mary Ann, to explain about the present. Last time that I saw you, I noticed you hadn't any on. So I bought you these, and I hope you're pleased. Now, why I took this liberty, you're wondering, I suppose. Well, I could see your skin was... Aye, and them old flies and midges and that east wind, they can bite. I could see you were on the bike. You know, I really liked them when I saw them on the shelf. Much I bought a pair myself. See, when it was cold, I'd wear my mother's, and them so much as the were her only pair. Oh, aye, and Mary Ann, if you should ever wet them, which you might, they'd only lose their lovely smell. And if you should ever dirty them, well, just rub them with a rag and you can sag. Now, I don't know if you're superstitious, my dearest Mary Ann, but for myself, I have to say I'm a very superstitious man. So, well, they say it's bad luck to pick up your own, so I'll pick them up for you. Every time you put them on, I hope take them off, I hope you'll think of me. You might find them a wee bit tight at first, but that's time which I'll pull them off for you. Well, be now the face it was like a fuse, and the language that was coming out of her, I never heard a woman use. The thing she called me, as she read me 7 generations and ridiculed me pedigree. 'Twas only then I saw the knickers and realised the mistake, the mix-up in the parcels, but this was an unforgiven plead. Well, with every word that came out of her, you know, her voice rose and flung them in the fire. Get out to here, you pervert, before I call the law. And with that, she scattered me with a filuther to the jaw. She said, I didn't see it, and in the melee that followed, I lost my cap and nearly earned my bottom teeth. Abuse was still being hurled at me as I staggered across the street. She opened up the window and flung out my brand new cap. She said, yeah, will you take that right? Well, as I freewheeled down the driveway and I was hopping off each ditch, me ears were still throbbing from the back of you know, bitch. I was never as close in all my life to being it alive. Well, I'm sitting. Wasn't I the silly pellick that didn't bring her up a bunch of flowers? And whenever I meet John Expert, I'll tell Jane, and to hell with Mary Ann.
Goodness. Well, that's just after bringing the room up an awful amount. That was so funny. So well done. So, oh my goodness. I think we need to do some movement, do we? To move it out. I think I need to do a little movement. So it's the perfect time to come into our next. Is a rare, rare gem. She really is. She's a kind of person that has all these wonderful ideas, wonderful concepts, and whenever I get stuck in it, always has a great plan and idea for me. She is a Toastmaster in Ballina, and she has been, and today she is going to be sharing one of her many, many talents, because she's movement for us, and we're doing this because this Toastmaster campaign, good to talk, good to listen, good to connect. A couple of little mindful practices coming up in today's agenda, and the first one is from Siobhan Phillips. Oh yes, sorry.
Mental Health Week, we decided to add a little bit of mindfulness to our meeting today. And I think the space will not really allow it very safely this time, though maybe perhaps for the next time. So we're going to do something a little bit different. One, worried about your next speech, or you're already wondering what's on the menu for lunch, eat and breath. I'm going to invite you to do a short activity with me. It is optional. There isn't a lot of movement in it. Respect your neighbours, and there should be no black eyes today, hopefully. And only do what feels safe and comfortable for you. You are welcome to close your eyes if you would like. I do hope if you have travelled some way today, this will help you relax before we dive into our... So you're welcome to close your eyes. You're welcome as well to simply relax your eyes. Let the room fade away a little bit. Remain seated. And I'm going to ask you to sit on the chair, feet, and make any adjustment Take a deep breath in. Notice your shoulder, where there's tension, where there's ease. Make any adjustment you need to make. Notice your neck there. And breathe in and out. Let it go. I'd like to invite you to notice any tension anywhere in your body. And take and out. Letting go of what needs to go. And now I'd like you to bring your attention back to your weight on the chair. The weight under your feet, maybe your toes. Some people have great eyebrows. Maybe your jaw. Relax your jaw. And out. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I will hand.
Exercise, hey? So are you okay with that?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm very relaxed now. I'm very poised and present here now. All the nervousness has left me. I should bring that into our next. Oh, we have topics. What is a Toastmasters meeting without a little bit of audience engagement and a little bit of fear put in our topics? And Damien is the Vice President Education in Castlebar Toastmasters. And he is the kind of member that every Toast steps up. He's dedicated, he's dependable, he is willing to step into any role, whether it's in a meeting. He does well more than his fair share. He models how his leadership, and he's going to take us through these table topics now. So welcome to Damien.
Francis, you have a few more jobs to do yet?
I have.
Yes, I think I do enough in Toastmasters, so I am going to have topics here.
Okay.
And it is always a fearful time of the meeting when table topics come up. I don't even know what's going to come up because I was given these table topics and it's going to be a surprise. So in order to and I'll ask Francis to pick one and we will select somebody to do it. And nobody will. It is time to do it. So
This
Francis,
is what I mean. He puts me to
pick
shame
a
every time.
number.
Every time I think I'm good at a role, I can't wait to see him in the president role, and then I'll see what I should have been doing this year.
Now I'll ask you.
I would
Yes.
pick 7 because it's looking at me.
7, very good.
Can I
Okay,
sit down? You're not giving it to me, are you?
okay. So number 7 on our table topics, and I'm going to choose Dolores Foy. Number 7 is, was your experience in primary school more of a rural small class or formed you as a person? Dolores. Challenging.
My primary school experience was in a rural school. We had 2 teachers, we had 4 classes in each room, and if you happened, the teacher was trying to teach 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th class all at the same time. We were very lucky, we had lovely teachers. They were school, the church and the pub. And we happened to own the pub. So we ran home for lunch at 12 o'clock every day. Penny toffees and gobstoppers and penny sweets that we were to bring back to school with us for the We had great teachers. We had one in particular, Mrs. Sheeran. Go to sleep. So you would fold your arms, put your head down. Mrs. Sheeran would disappear out to the bathroom and she might 20 minutes. Needless to say, we didn't learn a whole lot in Mrs. Sheeran's class. And then we had taught the senior classes, and he was a Kilkenny man. Now, we were in no hurling background at all, and he really thought we were all second class in our hands. We had a great time in school. We played, we had great fun. We had a railway line right beside the school, so that was great. and a few of us went off to have a look at the flood, and one of the lads fell in. We were all sanctioned when we came back. I have great, and it was lovely to be educated in a small rural country school.
And Dolores, I'll ask you to, Dolores, I might get you to pick the next topic for me. I am going to do as little as possible. That's the secret. Delegate, decide, delegate, and disappear. That's my style around here.
I'm going to be perverse now.
13. And I'm going to look at the list of names here and see who am I going to. And number 13 is not my topic, but if you could choose to wear and why. Number 13, Pat.
Thank you very much for the topic, Mr. Topics Master. Do I even know what? So it's not up on the. I can't even see it now. Fresh cotton or old silk to wear. Fresh cotton they're both actually natural. Busy making his silk, and we harvest it, whereas cotton is grown, so it is. So they're both very cotton or silk on me. It's all unfortunately manufactured out of chemicals, made of plastics. So I suppose maybe I need to, in my environmentally friendly way of life, start to save the planet. Not a particularly good EV. I bought it 2 weeks ago. Nissan Leaf, my first option of about had only 60 kilometres range. Had to stop 5 times on the way down to keep charging up to get all the way back to Mayo. So as far as going for natural silk or the cotton, I might end up with some worms maybe coming out of my clothes. I know silk on it's supposed to help warmer climates, all right. And again, thank you very much, and I can see why you disowned it so quickly. Thank you, Mr. Topics Master.
Joe, what was in the box was a cotton or silk when he purchased the present earlier in his story. Joe's story was a cotton or silk.
Silk pushed out of a big deal.
Now, Pat, thank you very much. Number 10. Okay, folks, number 10. Thank you. Release the tensions and let your hair down on Friday weekend. And could you tell us about this? Doyle. No, thank you.
Thank you for the topic. Actually, generally you say that I wasn't particularly fearful this time because, oh no, he's not going to, he's going to read the question first. Oh, anyway, I can't. So, I think it was something to do with, I have the pleasure of, every night is really a Friday night. And as one can see, I can't let my hair down because I have the pleasure, though, of every night being a Friday night because I'm retired. And it's, yes, I was trying to escape, but obviously it's not working. But when I was Miss Foy, Dolores Foy there earlier and was recalling the days of school, and I remember I was in a teacher school as well, and it was such a pleasure that we had a beautiful lady called Mrs. McDonough as our teacher in. She was such, you know, a lot of people in those days had awful teachers, and I recall my older brothers and sisters telling me it was just a pleasure to be in her class. So, but that's getting away from the topic that I was. That one is allowed to do that. But getting back to relaxation, I relax good company and maybe out for a nice meal, or it's my way of relaxing, and music is another big way of relaxing. And that, I could have said, and I would be extremely witty, but up here it doesn't feel that way. Relaxation is well. Thank you to Siobhan earlier on, body, and in this week, especially Mental Health Week, it's important to remember that, you know, we all kind of have fears. And it was I cannot speak, and actually, it's the exact opposite. You know, I was told about Toastmasters it's not. It's actually for everybody, and it's that's the way one should view it. Just come along to a meeting, and anybody viewing out there, come along to a meeting and find out.
I'll get you to choose another one. And just to give somebody a bit of warning, I might select Willie today. And Willie, today's topic for number 1 is, what is your favourite dish to cook and why? Willie Creighton.
Thank you very much. What's my favourite dish? But it's not with cooking or anything like that. I work with wood, but I'm what would you say? A bit kind of mix and match. Maybe I might make soup someday. I like. When my wife had be gone away, I'd say, I'll get the dinner ready now and I'll start cooking. Now, I must admit I'm not great. I must keep an eye on that, but it's in one ear and out the other ear. I'd be thinking about something else, something that I might be making. So, put it up and washed up and the whole works, and I throw them into a pot, mix them up, and then I see different spice up everything, and that'll be grand. So we'd have soup, anyways, for I don't know what you call it, soup, but it'd be every sort of vegetable I could get my hands on. Like I'd always have potato, tomato. Sometimes I might cut up a little bit of a banana and throw it in. I'd have a mixture of everything, and of course I'd have to have maybe when there'd be my family. I have 3 daughters, and they're all vegans, so that'd be a different story. I'd keep away from that altogether. So mix up a bit of chicken, and I'll have some sort of spices, and I might be testing it as I go along, and I'll add another dab of something to it, see what it's like. When time comes for tastings anyways, it'll be out anyways, and my wife would come back and the kids, and because there'd be chicken in it, and there'd be I'm not into vegan. I'd manage a vegetarian, but I wouldn't manage vegan. So, we cannot have that, we cannot have. As the old Irish saying, it's my antanlan on tuckras. Hunger is good sauce. So, put out the curry chicken or whatever, and put it out on the plate. There'll be no problems, everyone's eating up. So that's a good and back stuff like that. It's not a great job. So, that'd be my thought of.
I'll get you to pick one. Thanks very much, Willie. Willie's our resident wood turner, and Willie can turn his hand to Anton. Last topic. Willie's our resident wood turner, and Willie. Final topic, number 12. Number 12. And Derek has been very to get this meeting and this event organised so much. So in order to actually get of an Paul McGrath man, or who put the goal in the English net? Ray did. Ray Houghton.
Thank you. So glad to get this last topic, Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, dignitaries, DLT team, and invited. Well, it's fairly easy for me because I would say Ray Houghton for me. He put the goal in 88 and 94 in the tournaments. Fans, and he had his dark times, but Ray Houghton was for the Irish, for the Republic of Ireland team. I think was it his grandmother or grandfather had a connection with Ireland, and got to the France tournament in 1998. But I do have a soft spot for Paul McGrath because and he used to resort to taking a bit of alcohol. And so he's from Jack Charlton, of course, and they worked well as they could together. But Paul, 1994 in the USA, and so we didn't get to too many tournaments since. But living through that time, I'd have an opinion on Paul McGrath, or who put the goal in the English net, Ray Houghton. So Topics Master.
Thank you very much for that, Derek. And it's a fitting who also suffered during his career, despite how famous and prominent he was, he did suffer in the shadows. So with that, I would like to thank you very much, Francis.
Thanks. And I just want to mention, before we go to our break, even though we're a little behind time, but hands. So I just want to point out this wonderful, one-of-a-kind piece that Willie Creighton has made for Castlebar Toastmasters. This is his work. It's so wonderful to have it as part of our club. So thank you, Willie. And I think everybody here has definitely deserved a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and have a chat in 10 minutes, 15, 10? Okay, at some stage. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay.
We might have someone at the podium as well. It looks like someone's working from the podium. So the podium and table in, okay?
Yeah. Right, there we go.
Okay.
I'm going to take it off later for the Dolores.
Yes, okay. I'm in everybody's way. Are we back? Hello, everybody. I hope you all had a chance to have a cup of tea at home. Beloved member of Toastmasters community. She is a mentor, friend, and one of the most gifted speakers in our area. She embodies the very spirit, grace, generosity, and genuine connection. You learn a lot from Dolores Brady, how she makes everybody feel so welcome. Today she'll be leading our panel discussion, which is behind me.
Frances, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Undeserved. Today, you have an opportunity to be experienced Toastmasters. And I'm going to begin this panel discussion to introduce themselves. And like the talented Toastmasters they are going to do this. We'll begin. And we do have a mic. Thank you.
Gordon, with Toastmasters for coming up on 10 years, took a couple of years out. Love Toastmasters.
I'm Terry Cawley. I'm in Ballina Toastmasters. I like it. I like living by the sea in Enniscrone, and I'm here to contribute in any way.
Thank you very much, Terry. Dolores, fellow Toast. I'm Tom Flynn. I've been 14 years a member of Westport Speakers Club. I'm also a member of. It's an undiscovered secret. Thank you very much.
I'm Dolores Foy, years now. I'm also a member of the West Awake Advanced Club, and I'm lucky enough to be treasurer for both clubs this year, so I control.
I'm Katrina Doyle. I'm a member of Castlebar Toastmasters, and I was proud to be president of Castlebar last year. Frances has taken over, and well done. And I've been a member of Castlebar since 2000. Thought it was something beyond me, but you know, it is a well-kept secret, unfortunately. Thank you. Thank you very much, Katrina. I have a suspicion that you might be the longest serving member of Toastmasters. From a little bit of mental arithmetic I have done. Would Toastmasters?
Yes. Initially, and back in the back in the 80s, I had a retail business, but at the same time, I was a shy sort of a person. I had problems. The confidence of was within 3, 4, 5, or 6 people. I would probably be the last to say anything, and I would more or less out of what they said so that I could sort of repeat that. And it was my wife that introduced me, said there is a speakers club or a club to help speakers like that. And she brought me, she came with to walk into a room of people and speak or introduce myself or do anything. And so she brought me in. But I found the members there very welcoming and very interested in me and on there. And I met so many of them that are still friends today. But that was back in, and that gives me 40 years or more as being a member. And then when Ballina started, I was one of the founder members there, and I've been in Ballina ever since. I got as far as Advanced Toastmaster Gold, but I gained a lot of confidence and a lot of friends. And at this stage, I like to help others, spots in the club, to point out the ways people can improve their delivery for a speech, the theme, and how to do it, and how to research it, and how to deliver it. Be in Toastmasters, and I like to help anybody that needs help in that.
Thank you very much. How was it for you?
Thank you very much. I certainly can. Like Terry, when I went in, I found something. I found a pillar to hide so that the people up on the top table wouldn't see me. I've always been a quiet type of person, shy, and work on, because I did want to, even at work, develop my career at work, and I knew a role where either I did training or did some presentations or got, Terry said, being in a group of people and always being the last masters, after maybe the 5th meeting of hiding behind that pillar, I moved out to the side a little bit, and there was great encouragement. That's the encouragement from the people that have been there, and Terry is actually one of the people that did move on and gave me feedback, whereas in some places the feedback you get, and each little step, each meeting helped me believe a little bit more. I could do a little bit more, work on something just a little bit more, can help people that come in new and encourage them to take on just small little steps. There's not just public speaking, there's leadership roles as a develop and run a little team there, organize events, and then help encourage the next. One of the best kept secrets in the world. I had read about it. I would have read a lot of positives. In a lot of those books, they would talk about if you suffer from shyness, not help develop that. And it has for me. It has paid off in my social life. It's paid off in my work life through advantage. I would encourage anyone to drop into a meeting, pole to hide behind for the first couple of meetings, see how it works, and then come in and...
Tom, I know you have had a very light of your experience. Would you like to tell us what you think is the best thing about Toastmasters?
Thank you very much, Dolores. Earlier I mentioned about Toastmasters being a secret. It is too well kept. I've tried to share with everybody with whom I've come in contact with, both as members of Westport Toastmasters, West Awake, Castlebar, I was in Emerald Isles, was that everybody has, and the one thing that I learned during my formative years in Westport Toastmasters, communication. It's not really that simple, but it's not that the message. The sender sending the message to the receiver and the receiver decoding what the sender has sent. It's very, very simple. Toastmasters, to perfect your speaking skills, to speak with clarity so that there's no ambiguity whatsoever about the message that you're in your world of work. Certainly, I can say with my hand on my heart that had I not gained the experience of communications, I would have achieved as much as I have in my private life and in my public life. And I hope that if you take any message from what I'm saying, when you're speaking, think about what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. Be always mindful of baggage that you're trying to get across, and make sure that the receiver understands perfectly what it is you said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom. Has there ever for Toastmasters? Dolores.
There have been several moments, Pat. I was asked by a friend of mine to go to a Toastmasters meeting years ago. We snuck into the back row. Thought this was going to be a whole lot of old footy selves, and I was hooked from that very first night. I have said thank you to Toast 2 years ago, and I took up a part-time position last year as a tour guide, which I would never have to say Toastmasters has been the most invaluable training for that. It has been just wonderful. The nicest kind of hearing, and I could hear and understand every word you said. That's what Toastmasters has done for me. On a more, watch the Late Late anymore. Patrick Keelty is never heard anybody. He's being paid millions to do this. And I keep saying, I'm screaming. Thank you, Dolores.
Thank you, Dolores. In that you have the most recent experience of joining Toastmasters. Why are you still here? Thank you, Dolores. I'm tempted. I did hear about Toastmasters in the 80s, in the 1980s, and she was the boss of a friend of mine. So, oh no, it's not for me. But then another good friend mentioned it to me in 2017. Castlebar had just formed, thought I'd like it. And from the very first meeting, I was hooked. I was promised that I wouldn't be asked anything. But then I was asked about what was my favourite. And then I went over the time because, you know, I got engrossed in actually answering the question. And I remember that meeting, Castlebar Toastmasters with others, Julie, who I just say there now, one of those, and he had chocolates and coffee and tea and hot chocolate, so it was lovely. I was education vice president in 2000 and I can't remember the years now, that if you were doing education, that you would be the president the following year. I didn't realize that until it was suggested, you know, will you do it? But I said, actually, when I was asked, I was going to be on the panel. I didn't realize until the panel, but I said yes, because in Toastmasters, yes is the big thing, you know. It was probably the most wonderful year. I don't regret it's over, because I can, but I was president of Castlebar, and we did a number of, of course, it was International Toastmasters, 100 years since it was founded. So we had a beautiful walk and talk event in Loughlana, where it was there, and a number of other people here were there. That was a lovely event. And another event that I'll remember fondly is our octogenarian here for a number of years, I think shortly after myself joined, and he invited us out to his house out in the Crowpatrick or not, and so we had it was relatively recently, a few months ago, and his house is a beautiful house, a lot of glass around it, and so that was a special event. And Willie Creighton, our Toastmaster, should be proudly up on the table always, but that was Willie kindly offered Wood Turner, who has done amazing things in his life with in Toastmasters as well. Now he's been our member. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you. One of the talents we develop as Toastmasters is giving feedback. I'm getting feedback. I have a mic. I'll just throw that open. Would any of you like to take that thorny question? Because it can be quite challenging. Any volunteers for that one?
Giving feedback where speeches are concerned, it's a kind of a poison chalice, the language that you use when you're giving the feedback to the recipient. You've also got to feel that the speaker was talking about when he or she presented the speech. You've also got to and give them a helpful hint at the end, or a word presentation when they stand in front of the members in the club. Giving evaluations is at the same time, in Toastmasters, the faint-hearted become golden because they develop and they're encouraged skill that they hadn't realized they had before. So I would say in all fair, 0.99% of the people, for example, whom I've received feedback from, that I have been gracious as well in sending my feedback to the presenter of the speech. Thank you very much.
At this point, I can throw it open to the floor. Have any of you got a really awkward question you would like to put to some member think on their feet as well as they think they can?
Will I go in front? I can't. Could I ask any member of the panel in a speech, like drastically over time, maybe if it was a 7-minute speech, did you go to 10 minutes? Go over the time to finish out the speech. What was the reason why?
A question myself. Who would like to confess?
I seem to always have a problem running over time. Am I over time already? I tend to elaborate on whatever I'm talking about, and then I see the timer putting up, and then I have to hurry up and try and get finished. And I nearly always go over time. And I try when I'm preparing a speech to bring the time I have, and even under that time, to give me that little break point. But I find that I'm in a hurry to say it, of thinking sometimes less is more. So I'm afraid I would do confess too, then having to apologize.
Is there anybody? Our district director, Marie.
No, Tom, I love what you were saying about evaluation, but say now if a person had it wasn't the best ever, could you give us advice on how to address that?
Thank you very much, Madam Director. It's not been one of the easiest questions that I've been posed since I became a Toastmaster. Language than language. Their emotions are even higher again. So the language you use, no matter what, appropriate to the title and the objective to which you're addressing your. When a member, male or female, stands up in front of their fellow Toastmasters, what message they want to get across. Offence cannot be one of the messages. It's educational, informative, energizing. You've got to push. A member can improve from where they are to where they hope to go. So language is king, but coming back to something I mentioned earlier, the sender and the receiver, and in between you got the background noise. The background noise is attributed to, or by the speaker, to the subject matter to which he or she is speaking. So every speaker, of the language that they use, that it is not, for example, incendiary in any way, but rather that it is there to be informative, educating to the receiver. Thank you very much for the question, Madam Chair.
I see red lights down at the end of the room. Thank you very much to the members of the panel for your time and your generosity in saying yes. And thank you, the audience, for your attention. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you to the panel. I feel very inspired. If I wasn't a member of Toastmasters already, I ring. We're going to have a little music break. We're going to have a song from when a song was mentioned. He was a very clear choice. He has just done to treat us all to a Cottle Connolly original song. I don't know the name of it. I'm sure he'll tell.
Thank you.
Today, and then when I heard it was Mental Health Week, I thought about a song I'd written for my masters and to do it. So if you see her being chased through the park after this, you'll know why. So it's called UFOs. My body, what I can do to change it, it's not getting younger any day soon. My teeth are turning yellow, and I'm not sure what I can do to fit in. The day we first met, I was young, you had a smile on your face that I haven't seen, and we went on a Ferris wheel, the most innocent thing we could do. Today I worked 12 hours straight, enough to pay the bills that keep coming shadow, and I worry the next job will be my last. I'll end up on the street, pieces or carry me to my grave. And I laughed with her. She was in hospital this week, and I'm scared it's the last time I'll speak. The doctor said he's very tough, and I looked at his body. And I know there's a storm in every song that you listen to. Why do we obsess with what we can't control? And I know the storm will pass eventually. My neighbor's sheep will think they've seen a UFO. And I laughed to myself, 'cause I'm freezing to death on earth. And I think to myself, it'll all be fine. Maybe I should get some sleep. If I could just get my roof back. The mess after me.
Is it here? Can I take it?
Take the third one on the stand. That'll be grand.
I don't want to break it.
No,
Hello. Oh, is it that one? Yeah. Oh, right.
Here you go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
gonna-
Thank you. Oh my God, wow. I am blown away by the talent of that. I do not regret my choices to make you do that. That was the first time I've actually heard. It's the first time I've heard Cottle singing, and I'm just like, whoosh, whoa. So our next speaker up, we had a panel full of very experienced speakers. And our next speaker, who's given us, this will be her third time speaking in front of anybody, and she said yes to this, and I'm so proud of her. In Toastmasters, the longer, like habits, like the eye contact, the posture, it can be daunting. You feel like you're not practiced, underqualified, but you get up and speak. You take those steps, those first say. And Siobhan Brinklow has something important to say. She's already proved to be a courageous and what Siobhan.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Francis. Okay, before I begin today, I would like everybody to do something. I want you to, a son, maybe a grandson, a brother, a nephew, picture him in your mind growing up in. I want you to think about the messages that are being told to him about who he should be. More importantly, I want you to consider who are the people that are guiding him through that. So with that, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, Madam President. You know that suicide is the leading cause of death for young men between the ages of 15 and 34 in Ireland. To be diagnosed with a learning difficulty, with a behavioural difficulty from school. These, unfortunately, aren't just statistics. I believe these are warning signs. Something just isn't quite working. This has troubled me deeply. It has troubled me so much so that I have spent countless hours just trying to understand exactly what kind of a man I should be raising in the world today. And honestly, I still haven't got a clue. The vague, on one side, we are telling boys to be more emotionally open. They're also telling them to lead, but not too strongly, to be masculine, but are extremely vague. They're ever-changing, and they often contradict themselves. While the world support, I can't help but notice now, especially as my eldest boy steps into manhood, that boys are being quite subtly, but unmistakably. We have spent decades reshaping roles, expanding their rights, and opening many new doors. But very few people are asking today, what does it mean? That silence, boys, including my own, are where they belong. In his book of Boys and Men, researcher Richard Reeves explains that the process or cultural decline, but rather due to societal change without structural adaptation. So simply put, the world has changed, but we were boys to be. 60 years ago, the role of a man was really clear, whether it was they were the providers. Obviously, today this is no longer simply the case, and right has challenged those old norms and has opened up spaces for women to lead, for women types of roles. But while we redefined womanhood, we seem to have left masculinity behind with no clear. So what exactly happens when boys don't know who they're supposed to be? Well, some of them are told more nurturing, in short, more feminine. Others, unfortunately, male supremacy. Figures like Andrew Tate, they preach this hyper-dominant with power and sees weakness as vulnerability. And while this view is clearly, I can't help but understand why so many boys are listening to it. Because when you're lost, always cling to whoever shouts the loudest. Even if it's the wrong answer, it gives structure and it taps into some. For many boys, unfortunately, it seems to be speaking to the only voice speaking to their. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why this conversation matters so much. And if the only people offering our young men a vision of masculinity are male supremacists, then let me be clear, I don't believe that we are risking feminism by having this conversation. Instead, I feel that we are risking our boys by staying. Not all voices, I believe, in this space are harmful. Some are genuinely trying to off, I believe, is Jordan Peterson. Now, I do not agree with him on all of his views. However, I think when it comes to boys and young men, something positive, something valuable and something they need. He speaks about order and responsibility to stand up straight, both literally and metaphorically, to take ownership of their lives and contribute to the world. If young boys feel adrift, this, I believe, could provide the structure capable and valued. Because right now, whether we like it or not, we have put pressure on our young men to change, but we haven't told them what we expect. We support the progress that women have made. It's so long overdue, and it was something that was just so necessary. However, we have of this change is that many boys are now unsure of where they fit in. And many of them feel forgotten. And when people feel forgotten, they become vulnerable, emotionally, socially, and sometimes. I stand here today not to defend toxic masculinity. I stand here because I believe that we can and we must lift up both our boys and our girls. I want my kind and responsible and emotionally aware, not ashamed or angry at the world for not making space for them. And more importantly, I want my daughter to grow up higher the shrinking of men. We are not in competition. I believe that we rise together or not at all. But unfortunately, we can't do that if we're afraid to even talk. For wondering what a healthy, balanced version of masculinity looks like, we should be encouraged to ask and to challenge the extremes and to carve out a space where our boys can, when we create that space, through conversation and through role models, through support and through awareness, we will give our boys something truly powerful and a reason to become the type of men that we can all be proud of.
Well done, by the way.
It's well deserved. The thing about Toastmasters is when you come into Toastmasters first, then eventually you grow into a supporting role. And it is to be that support, to have grown in my journey to be a supporting role, to shine and to step up. Thank you. And now I'm going to hand the meeting over to Derek Walsh. Derek is a dead, if I have this right, Mullingar, Longford, USS Emerald Isle. Any more? Derek has been one of the key people behind the scenes to make this event come to what it is. Leadership and commitment has made today possible, and he's going to have a few words, and then he's going to set us off out into the world again. So Derek Walsh, thank you.
Offering me the floor, Toastmaster Francis, and I'd like to welcome everyone here, District Director Mairead and the DLT project team for the bus tour, and people who work behind the scenes panel discussion. I just want to endorse or remember or recognise first visit to Longford Club and continue that and did the timer the second time. So just the meeting afterwards. So I want to remember him and recognise him. Is it the 40th anniversary of Ted Corcoran's joining Toastmasters? I remember Ted when I was online, and Wordsmiths Online was chartering it, and they were inducted, all the committee and the members, the charter members were inducted by Ted. And service, which is one of the principles of Toastmasters, the guiding principles. So I remember that about it, and he really went for each of the members. And then the second thing I remember about him, and he was there, and he was at it, I think, and he was talking about focusing on corporate clubs and strategies about ensuring corporate clubs, and so that's my second memory of him. And I know this former Kevin O'Reilly, he has a mentor of Ted. The Buzzwells event as well, where I was last Sunday, and he was able to speak and very much respected in Toastmasters. Thanks to the hotel as well, and thanks to all the organising committee and people for coming out early on Tuesday to come here. I'll go direct into the chime boards now because I know I want to take up some time. So I might take out my deck. It's kind of music, but it's actually a mindful tool. And it's a pleasure to play the chime boards. I'm a sound healing practitioner. I hope you can enter into that mindful aspect of it.
Probably what we did with Colin.
Bring the microphone to the
Yeah.
So we'll bell to begin. leave it there.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you for, and we're on to nearly the last of our meeting now. We're a little bit over, but we're doing well, and is really, really important within Toastmasters. It's, you know, as people, as humans, we all want to be recognised, so it gives us these little goals to work towards. So, so recognition. So I'm district director, who's so glamorous and so wonderful, back up today to give awards to the people within.
So when in my mind, a good leader is somebody who steps back and lets other people shine. So I have a magnificent who only joined Toastmasters in April, and she's actually part of the core group. I'm so grateful to her for everything she has done. So I'm going to step back and let her present many of our awards.
Thanks, Brenda. Thank you. I'm going to hand these to you.
Oh, no, I'm going to let you read it.
This.
This is an impromptu.
This is brilliant, yeah. So if Siobhan Brinklow, beautiful presentation you
I'm going
gave.
to take pictures over
I
there.
will take pictures.
Thanks, Linda.
And Cathal Conley. Cathal. That was amazing. Great.
Congratulations. That was an amazing result.
Yeah, perfect. Well done. Well done. Well done. Congratulations. You get your lovely photo.
Before we take the picture, I want to say a huge thank you of Toastmasters and the importance of it. So thank you so much.
Well done. And Doris. Congratulations. Yeah. And we'll celebrate Tom Flynn. It's lovely seeing the action. Well deserved.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Well done. Photo. And we have Terry Cowley. Terry. Well done. Yeah, you get your lovely photo.
Terry, congrats and thank you for all your service to Toastmasters. Amazing.
And now we have Pat Gordon. Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gordon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Damien Fleming, thanks for not asking earlier on. Well done.
Somebody take a photograph of Damien with this one?
Yeah. Do a selfie, yeah. Brilliant. And then we have Siobhan Phillips. Brilliant. We all felt so zen. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And now we have, come on down, Joseph. There's so much we. Well done, congratulations, that was beautiful. Can we get a photo with Mairead?
I would say Joseph.
And then
Thanks a million for keeping us on track. Amazing.
And we have Salome Rush. Well done, Salome. Well done, Salome. Congratulations. And these ones then are in recognition of all the clubs coming together over in the West. Castlebar Toastmasters. Who would like to? Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Don't be shy. Well done. And we have Ballinat. Who'd like to? Brilliant. Down twice. Well done. Well done. A week Toastmasters. Two again. Oh. Okay, well done everyone. There's only one left that Mairead is going to then present. Okay, so I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks so much, and you did a
Mairead.
great job. Thanks, Linda. Cannot happen without having a fantastic event manager, and we really had a magnificent event manager today. Francis, please come up and get a small. And in addition, we need to undertake club officer training. And many clubs, they love to train. There's not many clubs that send all 7 from the committee. And of course, Francis being the amazing person that. So this year, and it's very much thanks to Steve Campion, our PQD, anybody who has any club has trained 7 officers, they're receivers. So congratulations. Will I hand back to yourself then?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of the gratitude, actually. So thank you. And I can't wait to hand out these pins tonight to my committee, who are just the most wonderful. And I'm so proud of them for all going to training. That's it, we're done. So, and I'll hand you back over to Salome. I had lovely things written about Salome too. Salome is so dedicated to Toastmasters. She's always showing up, and she's hard as nails. Whether she's baking, building, she's just such a wonderful, wonderful person to have in our area. So I'm going to hand you back over to Salome.
Now, thank you to all for attending today. And I am going to wish you safe travels. Well done for tonight. There be in Galway. Safe travels. You may now turn your phones on and enjoy the.
There we go.
With all my friends from all over the world and exchanging ideas with all of them.
It feels like
Only new online, face to face.
it's the people.
I get to meet so many people.
And more importantly,
I love being a part of such a wonderful organization that takes the time to stretch across the world. The best
energy. I love the warmth the fellow Toastmasters bring.
The best part is that you get to meet the global leaders all.
because I want to grow and I hope you want to grow as well.
And now I'm in the best part of these conventions happens to be the flag ceremony.
I'm sorry.
To be a flag bearer.
Never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine participating in the flag ceremony. It was an amazing experience.
Helping to make it work, helping to bring it together, helping to make it a success.
All the people who put the whole
All that you do.
convention is indeed an amazing, exciting time.
It is a communication supernova.
I think that's shaking all as one language. Toastmaster.
That's one of the best parts of being at this Toastmasters. The best part about being at this convention is reuniting with all my friends from all over them.
It feels like a global family reunion.
And I love meeting the people, to meet so many people.
And more importantly,